What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. We've mentioned before how Pokémon has done well in repeating certain ideas for inspiration, and other times you'd be better off leaving the ideas alone. So while there is always the danger of diminishing returns, I do think there are other brilliant ideas that have been used for Pokémon designs that could indeed be done justice again. Just because we had one bear Pokémon years ago didn't stop them from making more. And I think that they could revisit other claimed origins and still create something good, if not better than before. So, here are the top 6 ideas that should be repeated in Pokémon. Number 6. Kangaroo. Now, I will say, I do like Kangaskhan. It's a great Pokémon from the first generation, and was one of the scariest megas to ever debut. So this is a solid monster with amazing details even down to the name. And I know it might seem short-sighted to repeat Pokémon inspirations when there are still so many that we haven't seen yet, but let's be honest, they usually lean on repeats for most of their decks. And it's purely by virtue of being an original Pokémon that this version of the inspiration is extra monstrous, with armor plating and reptilian characteristics. Honestly, the only real thing it has related to a kangaroo is the pouch with its child in it. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, some people might prefer that approach. There's no denying that if it were done again in a more modern generation, it would be constructed entirely different. So I think that we could see it again, likely more aligned with the actual animal, and with a more streamlined design, maybe with powerful legs and a longer tail. And truthfully, it would probably be at least part fighting type, we can all agree there, and it could even have the classic boxing gloves. That might be too much, but a little flair like wrappings would probably work with lots of foot-powered attacks. Maybe even an ability that would boost those kinds of moves like jump kick or stomp. So, as I said, it's not like we're hurting for a new kangaroo Pokémon, but if we had to, I think a new version of the Marsupial from Down Under could be done well in a single or two-stage line as a standout fighting type for a future generation. Maybe when they finally do that region based on Australia. Number 5. Plains. I won't spend too long on this one, but I'll just say that I was sorely disappointed by Dragapult and its evolutionary line. I know some people like it, but to me, it is by far the most underwhelming pseudo-legendary to date. Part of that is it has way too much going on. It's a stealth bomber on top of a dragon and a ghost? Come on guys, pick a lane. Dreepy could have gone so many different ways other than launching fighters from the deck of an aircraft carrier. And I'm not saying that it has to look like JJ the Jet Plane or something, but at the very least we could probably get a cyborg one that has the wings or turbines. What do you mean like Garchomp? Yeah, Garchomp does kind of draw inspiration from that too, and even the Lati twins to some extent, but I'm saying that we should lean into it more fully, most likely as a flying and steel type, let's be real, or maybe even a helicopter. A Pokémon with rotors would certainly be cool and could do some serious damage. Not to mention there's plenty of great opportunities for signature abilities that wouldn't really fit on your standard less mechanical Pokémon. It doesn't have to be some purely motorized creation, but if we could have a giant metal flying Pokémon be a little more defined, it might be a fun way to fly around the region in some future games that will be even more impressive than soaring. Number 4. Scarecrow. Not all Pokémon are based on nature, and plenty of man-made ones are fantastic, so it's a bit odd that the only Pokémon based on a Scarecrow is naturally occurring. Of course, that's not as weird as the apple pie Pokémon, but I do like Cacturne. It's a good follow-up to the first cactus Pokémon, and becomes creepy by adding the dark type. And I do like it much better than the other grass and dark types that were introduced at the same time. It's cool that it becomes a cactus mixed with something else, but I don't know that it exactly reaches the full potential of what a Scarecrow could be. Firstly, the entire straw aspect is missing. I'm still holding out for a tumbleweed Pokémon one day, but I might even settle for a hay bale. The point is that straw behaves very differently from a cactus. I'm imagining some segmentation possibilities of removable body parts, or perhaps even send all of the straw flying out in an attack, leaving the husk behind, only to rush back in and fill it up. This could still be a dark type, but honestly it's sounding more like a ghost type. But mainly, I would want the lore to actually have it be a rival to Murkrow. In all of Cacturne's Dex entries, it doesn't mention Murkrow once. So that might be a tad unbalanced as maybe a ghost or grass or even ground type for our Scarecrow repeat, but I think that it could create a creepy but intriguing Pokemon to use. And surely a Scarecrow wouldn't be too precise if they can double up on something as specific as a music note. Number 3. Bison. The bison is one of my favorite creatures, and it is by far the best to be native to my continent. And we've clearly had Bouffalant before, who is fine. I mean, it's a nice, strong Pokemon. I've never actually used one, but I'm sure that it would pull its own weight. I'm just not convinced that a Fro is the right direction for this majestic beast. And I know that there's also Tauros, which some people will count, but I don't think it should. It's clearly more of a standard bull, or a buffalo even. The fact that it has a little extra hair, which as we've already discussed, is likely just by nature of the greater liberties taken in the first generation, doesn't exactly push it over the edge as far as the magnificence of a bison. But even if you do count it, a big problem is that we've only seen pure normal. I'm sure that we could do much better than that bland existence. This idea has the potential for so many other types that it doesn't have to be stuck in the most plain option. I could see a great version of this as a ground type, or maybe even a grass type of some kind. There's just an abundance of ways to spice up this wonderful creature, so I'm sure that it could make an excellent, powerful two-stage line at some point in a future region. So maybe by adding in some more, we can bring these out of being endangered in the Pokemon world as well. Number 2. Anglerfish. So I know that we have Chinchou and Lantern, and they're fine Pokemon. It's a great type combination, and Lantern has dual absorbing abilities for the immunity of your choice, on top of lots of special attack and HP through the roof. But come on, just look at these things. They're so cute and happy, like they're out of a Disney movie. Now there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but if you look at the real-life counterpart of the Anglerfish, it's pretty terrifying. It's kind of ugly and has sharp angles and rows of chilling teeth it uses to shred its prey. It basically looks like a Carvana with a nightlight. So while water is pretty much a guarantee on this particular template, we could possibly see dark or even ghost or something else for a ferocious deep-sea dweller like this. Of course, the light would still remain a facet of whatever new design they come up with, but it wouldn't have to be an electric type, but instead gain attributes like flash or perhaps even tail glow. As much as I would say common Pokemon designs have become softer over the years, when they want to up the ante, they go all out on making these things ludicrously detailed and downright frightening. So I have no doubt that if they were to revisit our classic underwater Illuminator, that it would be worlds away from where the designs were originally taken, but still just as good in their own right, and still feel just as much a part of the Pokemon environment. Number 1. Giraffe. Of all the creatures in the animal kingdom, perhaps the most recognizable is none other than the giraffe. A giant spotted horse with a towering neck and horns is hard to overlook, and is one of the more iconic highlights that you might find on Safari. Likewise, we have seen other Pokemon that would draw inspirations from its indigenous neighbors, but those are generally more distinguishable as to where they come from. Girafarig is the lone Pokemon to represent this animal, and I do like Girafarig. It's become a minor favorite of mine from the Johto region over the years, and it was a good, unique type combination for several generations, and its design choice of having a second head has entertained and weirded people out for decades. And you can tell it's a giraffe, but the main thing I'm missing here is the neck. A giraffe Pokemon should be one of the tallest out there, but instead Girafarig is no taller or even shorter than your standard deer Pokemon. A giraffe design should at least be as tall as Alolan Exeggutor, plus there's no shortage of types that could work. Whether it have a psychic gimmick based on its spots, or the horns on its head generating electricity, maybe even a grass-type starter down the line, who knows? If we can get another elephant Pokemon that was drastically different from the ones that we had before, surely they can take the spectacularly distinct origins of the world's tallest terrestrial animal and give us something just as wonderful and unique. so that no one would even mind that we've already seen the basis before. The truth is, it doesn't matter how many times you return to the same ideas, as long as they're good. And I think that Pokemon could certainly do well to give these origins another try. Which ideas would you like to see repeated in Pokemon? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!